Welcome to week 7 review. What we're going to do in this video and this unit this week, reviewing for your STAAR test, which is coming up soon, we're going to talk about the vertex, the zeros, the axis of symmetry, the y-intercept, and the domain and range. After this, we'll know if you understand it based on the problems that you have on your paper and the ALEKS week 7. So let's do the next one. Let's do this problem together. All right, so in this problem, we've got a quadratic function. I know it's a quadratic function based on the graph, and it's a parabola. It's either going to look like a U or an N. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these different examples. So the y-intercept is a point on the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. Let's make this one bigger. Oh, that's too big. Okay. And so I'm going to look at this graph. Now, there's two axes. There's the y-axis and the x-axis. Make sure you have this paper. If you don't have this paper, ask your math teacher or come see me, Ms. Castañeda, in 1243. Now, the y-axis is the one that is standing up. Like I said, there's only two. This is the one that's standing up. Okay? And so wherever this blue graph crosses the yellow line, the y-axis, that is the y-intercept. So where does it cross? It crosses right here at 0. Okay, that is my y-intercept. That's my beginning. So what I'm going to write over here is parentheses. I'm going to write as a coordinate point, 0, 0. It just so happens it's at the origin. Sometimes it might cross here, but it has to cross on this axis, okay? Now, for the zeros are the points where the graph crosses the x-axis. Why do they call them zeros? They call them zeros because the y value is equal to 0, and that's how they'll ask you on the STAAR test. Be sure. I can guarantee you that your STAAR test will have questions like this. All right, so the other word for zeros, I would like for you to write this down, are roots, x-intercepts, and solutions. Those are all words that they may use on your STAAR test. Okay? And again, this is for the x-intercept and the x-intercept. The x-axis is the one that is laying down. This is your x-axis. Okay? I like to put hearts. Why do I like to put hearts? I like to tell students your x used to have your heart. And this would be one of them. It just so happens they have the same y-intercept. This is the other heart. Those are your x-intercepts. Those are your zeros. So I'm going to write them here. Sometimes you might have one, sometimes you might have two, and sometimes you won't have any. It just depends on the problem. The x value here is -6, 0, and the other one is 0, 0. It just so happens that your y-intercept, x-intercept are the same for this problem. All right, please copy this. If you're in class with me, this is the second example. Jesus and Julian, this is the second example. All right, the vertex. The vertex is the highest or lowest point. Now, it's going to, I put points as a typo, but the highest is called the maximum when we're talking about the y value. The lowest point is called the minimum. So I like to put a star on that because it's either the highest or lowest value. So here, it's because it's pointing up, this is the lowest value. Why? Because it's going to keep moving forward. This right there where I put the star is the vertex. So I'm going to write it as a coordinate point. That's how you have to write the vertex, the x, y. So I look to see what the x value is. X value, if I go straight up, it's -1, -2, -3. and then the y value is -9. That's how I get the coordinate of that point. So again, it's, there we go, -3, comma, -9. Oh no, it's all wonky. Okay, something is too loud in here. I hear something. Now, that's the vertex. That's the highest or lowest point. Now we're going to do the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is a line that creates a line of symmetry. That means that they're both the graph is the same on both sides. It's a line through the vertex. Okay, making the graph identical on both sides. That's what symmetry means. So I'm going to draw my line of symmetry. It's this line. So you see that green line? That's the line of symmetry. So I have to write that as an equation. Because it's standing up, it's an x equals line. The x, we did that already. This is my x. It's the -3. So here for my axis of symmetry, I just take that x value, and that's what my axis of symmetry is equal to. I take this x, it's the same -3 here as it was for the vertex, so it's x equals. It will always be x equals for these quadratic functions. All right, make sure you put the x equals. If you don't put the x equals, it is wrong. Now, let's talk about domain and range. Because I have two arrows here, okay, remember domain is all x values, and I have two arrows. That means my graph continues on for forever. So that means when I have the two arrows, that means my graph continues and never stops. That means I'm talking, and it's going to include all, this is 3 words you have to memorize for the test. All real numbers. It's going to be all real numbers. Why? Because the graph continues. It right now includes the 1, then the 2, then the 3, then the 4, and it's going to go on forever and ever and ever. How we show that are with the arrows. That means it continues, and it's going to include all the numbers. The range is different. For range, when your parabola points up, and there are no spaces, no gaps, nothing like that. When it points up like it does here in this problem, that means my y values are going to be up. So my up hand is my right hand. So I use this inequality. Oops. Is it going to? There we go. And I look at what this lowest value is a -9. Remember, we did that. It's going to be closed, but it's not letting me type it in here correctly. So let me draw its little bar underneath it. Okay, anytime it's up, it's going to be the greater. When it points down, you're going to use the less than. Okay, that's what you do. And you just see what's the highest number when it's less than. That means when it's pointing down. Right here in this problem, it's not pointing down. When it points down, it's going to look like this, and then the arrows are going to point down. Okay, so make sure that you have this on your paper, everybody in person and online, because I would like to do an example with you now, if I can pull it up. Oops. Okay, so let me show you the Alex. So let's see if you understood it. Pause right here. Do the ones on the paper. Let's see if you understood it. Show your teacher. If you're in class, you'll show me. And now let me show you the Alex. Okay, so this is week 7 on Alex. I'm going to make this bigger if I can. Maybe I can. Okay, great. All right. So let me start. Okay, I want to do one. The last one that we did pointed up. So let me do one that points down so we can all see an example of it pointing down. Okay, here on this one. This points downward. The intercepts. So let me do the x-intercept. If you can see, it doesn't actually touch the x-axis. So for this one, I'm going to put for the x-intercepts, none. It doesn't touch up here. The y-intercepts, it does. It touches right here at 7. So I'm going to write 7. Does it want it as coordinate points? Okay, no, just 7. Vertex. The vertex is going to be the highest or lowest point. So I look right here, pause this, see if you can find it. Is right there. That's it. The x is -4, the y is -3. That's -3, this is -4. Okay, so let's see what I'm going to type over here. That's going to be -4 because that's the x first, then -3. Axis of symmetry, remember, it's an equation. So it has to be what? X equals, my x value right there is -4. Okay, I take whatever the x value is and I have to write x equals. If they ask me for the domain, which they don't, but let's just do it so we all remember the domain. This continues, it's a parabola, so it's going to be the 3 words. Do you remember the 3 words? All real numbers. The range, this is pointing down. So for down, the range is y. I would say the down, this one's down. This is the less than. And it is the greatest number right there is -3. So it would be like this. Y is less than or equal to -3. Why? Because right there is -3. All right, please start the ALEX if you're doing this online. Make sure the one on the paper is done. Make sure you show your teacher. We have tutoring every Tuesday after school, and we hope to see you there. Thank you for joining. And again, if you need help, I'm Miss Castañeda, and I'm in 1243.